Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 30 of this 30-day Authentic Life Challenge. I am Tanya E, and today we are going to have our final conversation with regards to unity. I want us to have this conversation because there are too many people in too many spaces that want to segment who we are because disunity creates barriers. And if we keep putting up barriers to separate who we are, we will never be able to fully receive all that we are supposed to get out of this life. See, I cannot truly be all of who I am if you are not able to truly be all of who you are either. There has to be a space where we come and we recognize that we are more alike than we are not. I have two eyes, two hands, two ears, the same as you. If you cut me, my blood bleeds just like you do. We have to get to a place where we recognize that we have to move beyond the barriers. There is something that happened in your past that caused you to believe that we should be disunified. But that's not the way it is. See, when children are born in this world, they don't know the difference between not being friends with someone because of the way they look, the way they sound, where they live, their age, their size. It does not matter because when God created us from the beginning, He created us in unity. It's our responsibility to keep it. But we forget that we are to be the light to the world. And I love, love, love how God shares in the very beginning of the book that we are designed in His image. And God is light and love. And with Him being light and love and designing us in His image, the same way we have a rainbow that shows up is how we show up as well. See, when you shine light through a prism, a rainbow comes out the other side, where our bodies are like the prism that holds God's light. We are reflected in the various hues of our colors, so that this is the color that comes out on the other side. But we're all light. We're all connected. I'm reminded also of a story years ago that took place with my son when he was 5 years old. Now, my son and his cousins had their very first Christmas was pictures. They were dressed in red, black, and white, and they were so adorable. But my son is more my complexion, and his cousins are a lighter complexion, like my ex-husband was. And that still believe with everything in me that we're all so beautiful because most Black people have a large array of colors in their family. But unfortunately, in this country, because of some of the kickback and messed up emotional, destructive modes that was put in slavery, colorism still exists in the Black community. So my son, being my dark hue, heard from someone in his family that the picture would be so much better if he was not in it. That was the day I had to explain to my 5-year-old that he was not ugly because someone else decided that the color of his skin was not the hue that they wanted to have presented. Some of the wounds that we have that we're walking around in the midst of our souls that are disunifying us is because someone else was given a perception that the barrier they needed to put up was supposed to keep them safe. But all it does is break us down, tear us apart. And the earlier you learn it, if you don't have someone to correct that for you, you grow up and we end up in spaces and places like we did in 2020 with the death of George Floyd, with the death of Breonna Taylor, with the death of so many Black and brown people, where we go through an environment where those individuals that don't look like one another feel like they could separate and segment. It's not supposed to be that way. So for this day, the final day of this challenge, I encourage you to be the bridge. Be the bridge to let someone know that what they have experienced is not the way the world is supposed to be. Because that day, I had to let my 5-year-old know that he was not ugly, that he would have to look inside of his heart, forgive the person that gave him the hurt, and help them feel like they were loved. Because somewhere along the way, they lost out on being loved. by being loved the way they were designed to be. So he eventually grew to be a better understanding. And I'm so grateful now that he's almost 30 years old, that he has a heart to serve, a heart to give, and a heart to be a bridge for others. But we have to teach that. We don't come here being disunified, but we have to be intentional with creating unity that will keep us whole. So day 30, unity. I encourage you to join us on the Zoom. If you already have the link, then you'll be able to participate. And with this being the final day, we're shutting down the other link now. But I encourage you to go back, revisit this challenge. And in the meantime, this is Tanya E. Hood, walking in my purpose. And I want you to do the same.